I'm here to speak to you about one of the most basic rights of a worker, not only in the United States, but in the town of Helmetta. The right to work in a safe workplace. Unfortunately, the basic rights are not only being violated at the Helmetta Animal Shelter, the violations are being directed by your own Councilwoman, Bruno. Please allow me to explain that this is not a character assassination, rather it is a fact. As many of you are probably aware, Councilwoman Bruno is a self-proclaimed animal activist. Although being passionate about the well-being of animals, at times these activists put aside respect for laws and well-being of others to pursue their personal views. I'm addressing you today because it has become clear that Yvette Bruno's activism has elevated to extremist. Councilwoman Yvette Bruno is currently active on a webpage called Reform Helmetta Regional Animal Shelter. This is the same organization which takes credit for causing the shelter to lose participation from other townships. Exhibit 1 is the above-mentioned website Facebook conversation that applauds the loss of revenue to the town of Helmetta. Applause is given to Colleen and Stephen Ronco. As you can read for yourself, reform is not what this group is interested in. They want to dismantle. You know, there have been...
That's bullshit. I have that.
I'm the person that has a podium right now. I have been reviewing this website for some time, and I have to tell you that although they talk about reforming it, what they talk about is profitability of an animal shelter and things of that nature. This is a municipality. There is no such thing as profitability. It is in the taxpayer's best interest that there could be excess revenues that saves the burden of the taxpayers getting a tax increase the following year, but there is no profitability, there's no CEO, there's nobody getting a percentage of anything off of it. It's a municipality.
Business.
I previously made the characterization extreme, so let me review their character. Exhibit 2, which I provided you with, speaks about a gentleman named Steve Ronco, a convicted felon.
Wrong.
Peddling 200.
That's libel.
You're defaming somebody. You're not a lawyer.
Marijuana.
Really? There's two Stephen Roncos and the other one's his cousin, so get your facts straight, man.
I have to document this is Stephen Ronco.
It's not him, so get your facts straight. No, I want to be sued. Have somebody pull his criminal record right now.
He has no right doing this.
I want his information because that's libel.
Absolutely not.
Get this on tape and we'll take it to court.
Thank you. Go ahead. Keep talking.
He's a veteran.
Go ahead. Keep talking.
Let him keep talking because he's very
He's not a convict. Yeah, you coming from the Teamsters Union is going to talk about a convict?
Like you'll be escorted out. That's what happens then what anybody says and you can deal with it.
You started it, Nancy.
Okay.
Just 5 minutes are up.
Okay, let him speak. Let him speak.
So, Madam Mayor, generally when activists become extremists, they no longer concern themselves with who they associate with, so long as it helps their cause. For some time now, Mr. Ronco has been actively harassing the employees of Helmetta. Ms. Bruno not only associates with Mr. Ronco, but when she planned her so-called peaceful demonstration, she did nothing to stop him.
I didn't plan it.
Well, she did nothing to stop him from creating a hostile environment for the employees of the shelter.
We actually call the cops on the employees.
As I recall, my name is Robert Bellach. I'm from Local 210, and I believe I was given the podium to speak.
Well, you're speaking
Thank you. So Exhibit 3 and 4 are statements by employees concerning the peaceful demonstration, and if you will, I would like to read these statements to you.
I know, I can't wait to show him. That's libel.
Damn right it's libel. You just bought yourself a lawsuit. Oh, I'm voting.
I want your information before you leave.
Shelter Director, this letter reflects the events that occurred at the Helmetta Regional Animal Shelter during my scheduled workday on Saturday, October 11, 2014. Due to constant chaos and group interruptions that involved both Steve Ronco and Yvette from the Helmetta Council Board throughout the day, I felt as though I was being harassed and more importantly was forced to work in an unsafe environment.
Your 5 minutes is up.
For instance, Josh had just returned from obtaining a surrender vicious dog. While I was assisting Josh with removing the dog from the back of the van, a large group of protesters, led by Steve Ronco, began to yell and scream and proceed to take several pictures and videos which emitted flashes and furthermore created a situation of mayhem.
Your 5 minutes is up.
Actions coming from the group began to take a toll on the dog's stability. Both Josh and I found ourselves to be in an unsafe situation due that the dog's increasing stress level and aggression. Due to this, it was necessary to use a control pole. As Josh proceeded to place a control pole around the dog with my assistance, the protesters became outraged and began to harass us with cowing and profanity. Ultimately, they would not only interrupt the 2 state licensed officers from doing their job, but also create a very unsafe environment for us and themselves. During the course of the day, the protesters were entering the building, meanwhile giving dogs treats brought from unknown sources, taking pictures of all the dogs and signs, and also removing dogs from the kennels without staff approval or assistance. One of the dogs that was removed from its kennel by a protester actually escaped their containment and almost attacked the cat that Josh was bringing down for a resident.
No, it didn't.
Another incident.
The whole thing's on film.
Another incident occurred that day happened when a gentleman arrived to surrender 2 dogs. Josh and I went to obtain them, and the protesters came running down to the gentleman's vehicle and surrounded us while we were trying to gain control of the animals and move them into the shelter.
7 minutes.
During this process, the protesters were creating yet another unsettling environment for the animals and staff. The dogs were becoming very nervous and scared, making it difficult to move them from the vehicle to the buildings. The group of protesters created such a hostile environment that one of the dogs literally peed itself. Meanwhile, during transporting the dogs to the shelter, Mr. Ronco was consistently harassing Josh and entering his personal space with a video camera, right up in his face.
Bullshit. He was not even up in
He
his face.
continued to
It wasn't
aggressively
like
interrogate him about his suspension and would not leave us alone. As a police officer arrived to settle down the disruption that was thrown by the owl, Mr. Ronco noticeably became irate and gave the officer a difficult time. As notice was made to shelter staff to close the building early, the protesters continued to knock on the locked doors with complaints about a lost cat.
With a senator there.
With the senator.
Cops were called,
And a priest.
and when they arrived, Sandy allowed the owner of the missing cat to go upstairs and check the scene. It was on site. We continue to finish cleaning up the runs and closing down.
Time's up.
As we left around 6 p.m., several of the protesters had since dissipated from the property, however, a few still remained. The next letter is from Joshua.
Can we
Gotta stop.
I'm sorry, Madam Mayor, I can't hear you.
Next time he's yacked up, you're out of here, okay?
I'm sorry, Madam.
Can we just enter the rest of this for council into the record instead of you reading everything to
Oh,
put it into the record?
that's fine.
Okay? All right,
Okay.
thank you.
So that was exhibits 3 and 4. Exhibit 5 is a statement from Josh Merrill concerning harassment from Mr. Ronco, and it's as an exhibit, and you can read it for yourself. Exhibit 6 is the invitation to this so-called peaceful vigil. As a councilwoman of Palmetto, Ms. Bruno not only didn't attempt to control the behavior of these protesters, she continued to associate with them and never spoke against the unruly behavior. Another example of Ms. Bruno's negligence to keep order can be found on the website. And Madam Mayor, I do want to address this exhibit because this one is extremely important. Exhibit 7 is a conversation on Facebook, Reform Palmetto Regional Animal Shelter Group, in which a participant claims she would love to cause bodily harm to a shelter employee. Councilwoman Yvette Bruno is an active participant on this page. However, she never comments that the threat of bodily harm is not appropriate. Now, if you look at this Exhibit 7...
You think you'll sit there and watch every comment? You do.
Freedom of association.
No, sir. Was this report provided to our borough attorney, mayor, before this?
This report is being reported to you right now.
My question was it reported prior to anybody that, about the council or mayor?
Was it given out earlier to anybody else?
This exhibit
Yes.
was not given out prior to today, but it was made aware that we were going to make this case. So if you go to Exhibit 7, you see, so I heard Josh, the ACO, choked Lucky. Let me find out, because I'll be down there choking his mongoloid-looking ass. Now, this is a website that Councilwoman Yvette Bruno is on consistently. I mean, I'm not going to print out a million exhibits of this. Then you have this is the part that really gets upsetting. You have
I don't think you should be
you have a
making
woman.
accusations.
These are public conversations.
These are accusations.
They're not public, it's in a private closed room.
You have a statement here made by one of the participants of this regional.
I got a lot of statements too, maybe I should bring them out.
Bring them out, baby.
He's rude.
You are rude.
11 minutes.
It's really rude.
A public forum.
It's not public.
All participated.
It's in a private room.
It's called freedom of association.
The fact that the councilwoman did not tell somebody that they were out of line by saying, I would love to where
11:20.
Michael lives so I could run her ass over in a ShopRite or food store parking lot. Oops, sorry, bitch.
She's not our mother.
The fact that she would be on this website and not make a comment about such as
Get in your truck and go home.
In my defense, I was watching that website because they have a lot of proof and facts about problems, so I
But you
think you
didn't
better
tell
be
people
careful
it
what
was
you
improper
say
to
there,
threaten the
Mr.
well-being of an
I was
employee.
watching it.
I'm telling you, it's improper the way you're talking right now. I'm telling you.
Just admit it that you're watching.
12 minutes.
He's had more than 5
Okay, everyone stop, or everyone's leaving.
Sir, you're going to put this into the record. You've made your point. I think the council as a whole
Submitted
and
the
mayor
report.
has heard enough. I don't think they want to hear anything more from you. We know.
I represent these employees, and I have a request at the end of this whole brief, and I would like to read this request on the record here.
Then wait and let somebody else.
Yeah, the 5 minutes is up.
13 minutes.
Madam Mayor, may I read the last piece of my
Can we read it first? You have to understand, you're going to cause a melee here. Do you get that? Is that our
The
president?
woman next to you.
Right.
No.
No, she does not.
You don't even have the right name.
Helmets, fool.
She is.
What? You! I'm talking to you, fool. Okay, I'm calm.
This body is
This train's leaving, he better catch it.
The train will pass in a minute.
terms and
No, it'll pass in a
conditions of
minute.
employment to those employees, and I have a policy.
Do you want to hear the request of the contract?
No. 14 minutes.
Is it in this?
It certainly is.
Okay.
Number 1, 2, and 3.
Okay, let us all read this quietly. Let's not allow him to read it yet.
Why don't you let him do it at the end of the meeting?
He's had too much time.
He's got 15 minutes already.
It's not fair.
We were told last time we only had 5 minutes to speak.
Why is this not everybody on board? This is
We'll just put the presentation in the record. Okay?
Well, thank you.
I'd like your business card so I could sue you.
Okay, now I'm going to open the meeting to the public.
Did you have it?
You're a disgrace. There may be people that are afraid of you here, but it's not.
I want your business card.
Disgrace. My father was in a teacher. Don't step on me. Then move your fucking feet out of here.
I want your business card.
Get him out of here. He's got to go. Get him out.
I'm sorry. Grab all of your stuff and come outside with me.
Officer Gallo, can I have this business card?
I hate to forget to say no, but yesterday.